Hi guys, welcome back to the multimedia channel. I hope that you had a great weekend really, and that of course the new week is already off to a good start for you. It's a new week that promises to be exciting, a new week that presents us with another opportunity to get better at what we do at our workplaces. So I'm wishing all of us a fruitful week and of course fruitful days, weeks and months ahead. So if you're subscribed to the channel, I want to say a very big thank you to you. It means a lot to me. But if you're yet to subscribe, I don't know what you're waiting for. Please just hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with the contents that I share on the channel. So today there are quite a number of updates, to talk about in matters that concern the Super Eagles. Of course, particularly as it concerns, we have a new coach. So quite a number of discussions around the emergence of Finidi George as a coach of the Super Eagles, and then the players and the successes they are recording in their various club sides. But just before we delve into that as usual, I want to talk about the Premier League. You know how interesting it is always to talk about the Premier League, the clubs, those of them who are doing amazingly well, those of them who are not doing so well. To begin with, Chelsea appears to have rediscovered their strength, but then it hurts that that is happening at the tail end of the season. But it's not completely bad because with the way things are, I mean, if they win their remaining matches, they will most likely finish in the top six. But that, of course, will depend on how Man U also ends the season. So talking about Chelsea, they beat West Ham 5-0 in the Premier League over the weekend. So it was, to be honest with you, I wasn't really expecting the outcome of that match. I wasn't expecting because, of course, West Ham have been strong themselves, even though they've really messed up recently. But I didn't expect Chelsea to beat them, and especially the way it ended 5-0, that was crazy, man. But it shows that, I mean, the players are beginning to understand themselves much better. They're beginning to learn how to better work with Pochettino. So of course you had the likes of Nicholas Jackson hitting the score sheet, the likes of Cole Palmer, who, by the way, as far as I'm concerned, is like the major man in Chelsea, and as far as I'm concerned, also is the best signing of the season. I mean, he's been superb. I think over 20 goals or so in the Premier League. So he was also on the score sheet, and then Gallagher, and then the rest of them. So it was a great outing for them. I'm wishing them well. Of course, we have, I think, about 3 or 4 matches to go to the end of the season. So they've really been doing well. I just hope that, however the season ends, they'll come back next season better reinforced, for the competition. So of course, we also saw the game between Liverpool and Tottenham. It ended, I think, 4-2 in favor of Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool were winning 4-0, and then before you knew what was happening, Tottenham started coming back. So I know many fans of Liverpool became afraid at some point as to whether the game wouldn't end 4-4, because it appears as though Tottenham was really in control of the game, but of course that was towards the end of the game, so it was late already. If they had reinforced, maybe immediately they came back from the second half, I think it would have been better for them. But of course, some people would argue that the Premier League is still very much open, but I think personally, Liverpool are out of the competition as far as I'm concerned. So it's a race between Arsenal Football Club and then, of course, Man City. Talking about Arsenal. Okay, talking about Arsenal. Of course, they beat 3-0. They beat Bournemouth 3-0. I wasn't really surprised about that score because Arsenal has been super impressive all season. I'm not necessarily a fan, but I think one thing that continues to endear Arsenal as a football club to fans all over the world is the fact that they have a crop of young players who are committed to the goal. So the fact is that even if they don't win this season, I mean, they can always win next season. But of course, I wish them well because they have, I think, about 2 matches to go. So that the match ended 3-0 in favor of Arsenal over the weekend. Of course, you had the likes of Saka. He can't stop scoring. Great guy, great player. But of course, City also won their match. It ended 5-1. against Wolves. I mean, City is another club where no one agree at all. As a matter of fact, the two clubs, nobody wants to agree for the other person. And the thing is, at the stage where they are, any slight slip like this and then you're out of the competition, that's just the fact, because no team is willing to give up. So if you lose a match, it would really count a lot. Haaland, as usual, also got a hat-trick in that match, 2 penalties and then a goal. So it takes it to a total of 6 hat-tricks that he has got so far in the Premier League. Great player. So he has, I think, a total of 25 goals already. And then talking about goal scorers now, I think he would, win the Golden Boot for the second time running. Of course, he won it last year in his very first season in the EPL. He's such a super striker. So he has 25 already. Mo could just leave for him. I mean, the guy is he's just too good. Yeah, so as things stand, like I said, Arsenal has a total of 83 points from 36 games, while City has 82 from 35 games. City has a game in hand, so if they win, they would go 2 points clear at the top of the table. But like I said, any slip, it go be. Yeah, so if Man United are able to get a win against Crystal Palace, which I seriously doubt given the poor performance that the players have really put in their last games, but if they end up winning that match, of course they would go back to the 6th position, which is currently being occupied by Newcastle, which has a total of 56 points from 35 games. Man U currently has I think 54 points from 34 games. So Newcastle and Chelsea have played one game more than Manchester United. So Man U can win today because they would go 57. So that takes them to the 6th position at the log, and then of course it means Chelsea will now drop down to 8, where Man U currently occupies. But of course, I wish them well. But really, the season has been exciting so far. Yeah, so moving on to what we have for today. So Finidi, who of course is now the coach of the Super Eagles, has said that he will do his best to ensure that the side actually qualify for the World Cup, and that includes making sure that they win their matches against South Africa, which comes up on the 3rd of June, and then of course Benin Republic. So he said that those 2 matches are a must win for Nigeria. Of course, they need to win the matches if they must qualify for the World Cup, and it really goes beyond qualifying for the World Cup, because we know how competitive it can really be when you get to the tournament. So I just wish him well. Of course, we know the kind of conversations that people have had around the fact that he has emerged as the coach of the Super Eagles. We had those who were doubting the fact that he had the capacity, but we also had those who were really of the opinion that he understands the players, and that of course he understands the whole local concept, and that he has that capacity to really harness the potential in the team. Yeah, so I really wish him well. Yeah, so moving on, a former Super Eagles defender known as Ifeanyi Udeze has actually warned against imposing assistance on Finidi George. So some reports had it that Finidi George actually rejected suggestions by some individuals who actually asked him to go with the likes of Daniel Amokachi and Emmanuel Amuneke as his assistants. But reports had it that he rejected those suggestions, and that of course he has his own preferred candidates, and so the people he would want to work with to lead the Super Eagles to success. And I completely understand. I mean, he is in charge, and this is usually one of the problems, this idea of always imposing either backroom staff or even players on coaches. They should be allowed to take decisions themselves, because they are in the front seats, they are leading. You understand? Because if any mistake is made, they will be the ones who would take the blame. So I think he should be allowed to make his decisions. Of course, we know that Emmanuel Amuneke and Daniel Amokachi were among the top contenders for the Super Eagles job. So he feels like they wouldn't really contribute to the kind of success he wants at the team. So he should be allowed to make his decision. Yeah, so these are my thoughts, really. So moving forward, stakeholders, of course, in the Nigerian footballing sector, whichever way you prefer to call it, wants Nigerians, to support Finidi George as he works towards the success of the team. So they insist that his success would change the perception, that that local coaches are nothing compared to their foreign counterparts. Yeah, so I think I've said it a countless number of times. Regardless of who emerges, they need our support. Now it is Finidi George. The best we can do as Nigerians, the best we can do as lovers of football is to give him the support he needs, because yeah, he really needs the support, because he's under a lot of pressure, the World Cup, to really perform and change perceptions about his emergence as the coach. Yeah, so moving forward, of course, Victor Boniface was on target again as his Bayern Leverkusen side actually, continued their unbeaten run with a 5-1 win at Frankfurt, against Frankfurt rather, on Sunday in the Bundesliga. Yeah, so they've gone a total of 48 matches unbeaten. That's massive. 48 matches unbeaten. It's crazy. Yeah, so congratulations to him, congratulations to his side. Of course, his side got a penalty and then he put it past the goalkeeper of Frankfurt. Yeah, so he has continued to impress. He has continued to show the kind of player that he is and how relevant he is to the Bayern Leverkusen side. And of course, because of his performance, he has been named in the prestigious Bundesliga Team of the season. Now, Bayern Leverkusen alone had a total of 6 players in that team. So congratulations to Victor Boniface. I know how much we missed him at the AFCON tournament in Ivory Coast. Of course, I hope that he would be fit to feature in the match against South Africa and then Benin Republic as the Super Eagles continue to prepare for the World Cup tournament. Yeah, so of course, he also went further to talk about the fact that his signature celebration is usually intended to make people laugh, and I think that his celebration where he does something very funny is one that has really got a lot of people talking. So people keep wondering, I mean, where he got to know about that kind of celebration, but he's come out to say that it is intended to make people happy. And if there's anything I love about Victor Boniface, it's the fact that he's such a funny guy. He doesn't take life too seriously, but of course when he's on the field, he knows he has to do his business. Yeah, but overall he's such a great guy. Yeah, so moving forward, at the weekend, so former Super Eagles players and of course football enthusiasts across the country paid tribute to Nigeria's all-time top scorer, of course Rashidi Yekini. That was 12 years after he passed on at the age of 48. We recall that Yekini was the 1993 African Footballer of the Year because of his top-notch performance of course, on the continent. Yeah, so it was an emotional weekend for those who played with him. So you had the likes of Sondo Lise talking about how much they miss him and the kind of player that he was, how excellent he was on the field. Yeah, so it was an emotional weekend for the former Super Eagles players. But of course, I wish the family of Rashidi Yekini, I wish them well, that of course they would continue to have the fortitude to bear his loss. It was a great loss to the footballing community in Nigeria and of course the entire country. Yeah, so as usual, I would want your thoughts on the comment section. Talk to me about who you think is winning the Premier League this season. It's still pretty much open. Talk to me about Finidi George. What are your expectations of him as the new coach of the Super Eagles? Yeah, also talk about that and talk about the fact that he rejected, suggestions that he should work with Emmanuel Amuneke and Daniel Amokachi as his assistants on the team. What do you think about his decision to really reject those suggestions? Yeah, so you can just share all of those at the comment section. Also talk about how impressive Victor Boniface has been all through the season in the Bundesliga, and the fact that he's made it to the team of the season. It's massive. So you can just share your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching. As always, bye for now.